Good evening, everyone. I'm Mike O'Reilly, the chairman of the Town Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission. Welcome to our September 7th regular meeting. It is 7:02 p.m. We'll now call the meeting to order. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you. We'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Ryan Condon, Commissioner.
Dan Ambrosi, Commissioner.
Bruno Maini, Commissioner.
Robert Westland, Commissioner.
Nicole Lupo, alternate commissioner.
Dylan Willett, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
Rick Schultz, Transitional Manager. Sarah?
Sarah Stroud, Recording Secretary.
Thank you. To general public participation, if there's any members of the public here tonight that would like to address the commission on matters that are not on the agenda tonight, for which there will be specific times for comment, this is the time for general public participation. I see hands raised. Come on down. Okay, just name and address for the record. Speak in the microphone, address the commission, please.
I'm here tonight so I can publicly and in person thank Rick Schultz for all his years of service to the town. As a former chair of the Conservation Commission, as a current member of the Conservation Commission, I got to know Rick. He is accessible, responsive, conscientious. He knows state statutes, he knows the town regs, and he knew the importance and the value of the plan of conservation and development. The true importance when you're planning a town to look at both the development and the conservation aspects of it. He has spent many, many, many long hours, because I've even seen him here late at night and sometimes early in the morning, working for the people, for the town and for its people. I want you to know that you're appreciated, you will be missed, but most importantly, I want to wish you all the best as you begin the next chapter of your new life next Friday as an retiree. Have fun, enjoy, all the best to you.
Thank you so much.
I still think I should go to Stop and Shop and get.
I can typically say
Thomas, 3 Wheeler Road, Monroe. Ditto Karen, I can't say it better than she said it, but I did want to come in person to thank you for your responsiveness, which was great. If we called, you answered, you sent an email, and you responded very quickly, so I do appreciate that. And again, all the knowledge that you had that you were able to give to us, and we needed something answered, you were always there for us. So same as Karen, I just wish you all the best in whatever you want to do. It's a lot more fun than some of the things you've done in the last few years. So
Thank you, Barbara.
enjoy.
Okay, the testimonials come up.
Oh, there's one more, I think.
Just name and address.
Wally Thomas, 3 Wheeler Road, Monroe. Is it all right if I hand you pictures? I
Yes.
don't know what the rules are.
You can.
I just had to write some notes down here, but I just recently read a Monroe Sun article about the possibility of an AutoZone getting built in place of basically an empty building at the moment. I'm not anti-development, especially when the new building is replacing earlier, dilapidated older buildings. What happened to the planning and zoning regulation? The buildings have a style and character indigenous to Monroe and New England. With the approval buildings like Panera and Starbucks, I just fear that now we're considering ugly boxes indigenous to Monroe. Therefore meeting our regulations. With Panera, it's bad enough we got poked in the eye with an ugly stick, but now the town is rewarding this ugliness with tax abatements. I mean, that's not how tax abatements should work. It should be, if we ask for these changes, then they get rewarded. But when the developer takes this thing of, well, it's this or we leave, I don't see the need for tax abatement there. And I really don't think we should be getting poked in the eye and our regulations just ignored. Latest example now, Starbucks. Once again, developers telling you their ugly box design, it's all a corporation will accept. And it's, and the board went with it. I mean, I want to keep this short and simple, but it's 2 pictures each. There's a few of them here, if you want to hand those out. It's a brand new building. It's a Starbucks. It's freestanding. And it's in Stratford. And look at it. Because that's not their ugly box, it's all in second. That just opened. That, to me, is the character that we're looking at for indigenous to New England. So I know it's too late with them. All I'm saying is, let's get back on track. Let's follow our regulations and stop this accepting ugly building, post-road, anything goes design just because we're going to get some taxes from it. Let's make Monroe look the way we were doing when we proposed these regulations. Thank you. And thank you, sir. Happy retirement.
Yes, Ms. Lindstrom, come right up.
Everybody, you probably know why I'm here, but I would like to second and agree with the gentleman who just spoke before me about the need to maintain the integrity of our town, which is called for in our conservation and development, among other places, including regulations. I'm sorry, I don't think I said my name. Captain Winston, sorry about that. So back in July, I saw this article in the Connecticut Post. And actually, I think I sent a copy of this to Rick once upon a time, but I'd like to pass that out. I have been a pain in everybody's side for a long time about the lack of enforcement on non-compliance with our zoning regulations with regards to lights and signs and banners and you name it. And this article is written about Stratford. Now, this is not Stratford. We now are going to have a new planner. Congratulations. Good luck on your job, John.
Thank you.
I hope you'll do this.
This is Shelton.
Did I sign in Shelton? But they were able to clean up a lot of stuff in a very short period of time. I lived here 50 years. It's been an ongoing battle for 50 years. I've been fighting this battle for 50 years. Here's for one more time. And that's just to show you that it can be done if you have the support of your commissions, if you have the support of your town administrators. We're going to have a new administrator coming in, January, I guess. So, if everybody works together, we can achieve the goals that the gentleman behind me just said, and what I've been bellyaching about for a long time. I also am on the Architectural Review Board. We do look at the buildings that come to us and we say, we don't like this, can you please change that? They sit there and they say, yeah, and then they don't have to do it because there's no requirement. We are advisory. We can maybe convince them to make a minor change, but it's really tough. And when they do threaten to pull out, everybody gets nervous. But the job of planning and zoning commissions are not to consider the tax base of the town. That is not your job. That's Board of Finance. So somebody else's job. Your job is zoning, enforcing the regulations, and I wish you do it. Rick, lots of luck. We enjoy working with you. Dylan, good luck on your job.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lindstrom. Do we have anyone else here tonight that would like to address the commission in general terms? Is there anyone online that would like to address the commission during public participation? Please raise your hands. I see none. Then are there any additions to the agenda, Rick?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you have a request for a 3-year extension.
Okay.
Purdy Hill Road.
I have a letter from.
Yeah, the you want to make reference to the document in your right hand. Yeah.
This is your letter. In regard to SCP 2019-11-A1, file 1691A, 269 Purdy Hill Road, also known as Borough Corner, they have requested a 3-year extension on the demolition of the existing house at 269 Purdy Hill Road.
Where's 269? Right up there. 55 and older?
Looking for the letter. Do we have a letter here?
Yes, you have a letter with that too. So we just need a motion and a second to add it on the agenda. And then you're going to take it up under zoning planning matters.
All right, the chair will have the motion to add this to the.
I'll make a motion to add the request to the
All
agenda.
right, we have a motion, need a second.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, it's unanimous. We'll put this on the agenda. We'll find the letter and we'll go over it later tonight. On the agenda, we have public hearings next. First public hearing is CP 2023-09. It's 1565 Monroe Turnpike.
Planning and Zoning Commission, Monroe, Connecticut, in accordance with CGS 8-7D, a public hearing will be held on Thursday, September 7th, 2023 at 7 p.m. or soon thereafter via hybrid Zoom meeting, and in-person attendance will be at Monroe Town Hall. SCP 2023-09, file 157A, 1565 Monroe Turnpike, special exception permit for proposed building supply retail store located at 1565 Monroe Turnpike, Building 2, Anthony Galbo, owner, Romaldo Dalt, applicant. Notice was published twice in Voices on Wednesday, August 23rd and August 9th.
Okay, thank you. Rick, do you have the exhibits?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, exhibit number 1, application and plan set, and exhibit number 2, health department comments. That is all.
I didn't get it.
Okay, do we have someone applicant here tonight? Come on forward.
I got all this to go.
Name and address for the record.
Yes, my name is Reynaldo Dalt. Address, right? I live at 66 Stellar Road in Trumbull, Connecticut. I'm here with my wife, Josie. And we are intending to open the business that supplies building materials and services as well to the community. So, and help the community grow and the knowledge that we have.
Okay, so you have submitted plans.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this will be a new occupant along with the church, special event.
This is part of the building?
Yeah, it's the building that's already standing, right?
First floor. Yeah. It's unit 102. It's right next to the church.
How much outside storage are we looking to do?
That's under the
Just the
there's
chairs.
behind the building. There's a fence there. So probably there's maybe 1,500 square feet roughly under the tent, and then inside the store is about 1,200 square feet.
And when you say tents, you mean those, the wooden?
It's out outside there's a big high structure.
Yeah, where they used to store the lumber.
Yeah.
Will there be retail?
Yes.
Sales?
Yes.
Yeah, it says building supply retail store.
What supplies do you sell?
Drywall supplies, insulation, probably some wood products, hardware, acoustical ceilings, fire stopping products.
Are you gonna be like a Camco? Give or take,
Yeah.
something like that?
Something like that. Thank you. That was a nail. Thank you.
So,
But not as big as Camco, of course, because it's
Just to the outside.
huge. Yeah.
oh, totally understood.
Do you have any other locations?
No, that's our very first baby.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, there are 32 parking spaces which will be shared by all the tenants, and right now, the shared parking will work. The hours vary for the other,
You're gonna have standard hours, like a 8 to 7 to 5, 4, 3, 2.
Open hours, like, we're intending to do like from 6 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on weekdays, and Saturdays from 7 a.m. to 2:30 p.m.
How many employees are you anticipating?
Right now, it's only me and one helper.
Oh, boy.
My wife, she's helping me as well. That's what we're starting with.
I mean, I'm assuming you're not making deliveries?
We are making deliveries, yes. And, I mean, we'll, like, some of the materials that will come, we will open the truck and the deliveries.
So you're gonna have delivery trucks on site, you're gonna have forklifts on site.
Yeah, I'm gonna have one forklift and flatbed. It's a small flatbed, 12 feet.
Mm-hmm.
So. Probably that flatbed might not stay there in the beginning because everything is, not guard or.
So any other questions?
What about signage? I see it. I see it.
Yeah, well, can I see this?
uniform signage.
Probably one sign, above the door.
I got you.
Yeah. Very similar to the church, the Bethel church.
Very, very small signage.
Yeah.
How much outside storage?
Oh, they are 1,500 square feet. They're designating in the back.
1,500 square feet?
On the plans. Right. Working on the plan here.
It's, can you explain to the commissioner? Your outside storage is in the back, right? In the overhang.
So there's
I don't think it's on the
It's not
plan.
on the plan. It
Designated on the plans.
needs to be designated on the plan.
Yeah.
Not on the plan.
Deliveries, deliveries coming into you?
Yes.
So you buy from someone,
correct.
they bring to you.
Yes.
When are you expecting those?
Deliveries normally are in the morning. So from 6 a.m. to 1 p.m. So mostly
Throughout
are,
the day, you'll have.
mostly are in the morning.
They're
They're very early.
And he's got 111 and 34 there, so it's a good spot.
anywhere.
It's got plenty of room. That's good for you because you have 111 and 34
Yes, correct.
to help you, especially with those big trucks.
Yeah.
Especially if you're bringing in sheet rock, those come in on wheels and flatbeds. And in the back, it's gotta be that.
Any other questions?
How big is the space itself?
The store itself is like about 1,200.
No, the inside, the whole building. How big is that? How big of the building, how much of the building are you taking?
About 1,200 square feet.
By 35, how
Yeah,
much?
there's 4 tenants in the front.
It's 4 tenants there.
So you're gonna fit all this material in 1,200 square feet?
Yeah, have, inside the store will be only screws.
Yeah. Like a hardware store type thing.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
And
some,
the outside is gonna be all the,
right. How much is that?
how much material?
No,
Oh,
how,
the designated area, you said 1,500 square feet.
Yeah, At 1,500 square feet, just like a open,
You don't have a warehouse? You're not gonna have a warehouse part of this?
Yeah, so.
well, the warehouse, probably is in the back of this building, in the back of the building, where there's a big roof there, it's very high.
Yeah, how big is that?
I think about 1,500 square feet.
Are you getting that whole entire
No,
unit?
no.
Or just one parking
Just
space in it?
two sections, probably there are like, maybe 10 or more sections of that fence.
Try it. It looks like it's 9.
7, 8, 9.
So they're gonna give you 2 of those outdoor storage? All right, so yeah,
Here's your area is limited. You're not storing a lot.
No.
Okay.
Because mostly the stuff, the materials, will come in and will go out. So,
So you don't plan on because I know how this, I'm sorry. I don't really know how this business works, but I've been into a bunch of supply houses at Camco,
Correct.
stuff like that. They generally have
a warehouse.
a warehouse to store this stuff.
Yes.
All I keep hearing is you have 1,500 square feet outside and 1,200 square feet inside. And I just don't know how that's going to work.
Yeah.
Because if you get a sheetrock order, say for 3-4 houses, or a sheetrock order for a development, where are you putting it?
No, normally, say like a really small, so I'm just starting the business. So I won't get those jobs. Because those jobs, they require a boom.
You're a good guy, you're gonna get those jobs. Where are you putting them?
No, so in that case, normally when we get, I did a lot of those big projects in Norwalk, Stanford, Stratford.
You name the town, where are you putting it?
So normally those big jobs, we send the trailer direct to the job site.
So it never comes to you?
No, so when there's those big orders, we just send the truck or boom truck or service.
So basically, you're expecting to take in people that are like on the smaller construction side that are
Correct.
coming in for
Yeah.
a little this, a little that.
Yeah.
And the bigger stuff, you're gonna ship direct from your supplier to, okay.
The job sites.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense to me because the other way was not working. So, all right, thank you. That's why I lose my hair.
Other questions on this?
No, don't go away yet.
Oh, okay.
I think me and Leon are just in agreement that we just want to make sure the outdoor storage is marked.
Who are these,
That's what it sounds like, but. Yeah.
You know I don't know if you know that property, in the back, there's the big tent that says not smoking.
Yeah, we know exactly where it is, but we need it on
It's
the.
on the plan, it has to be on the plan, and it's not on the plan, it's like, you're saying that. Okay.
Stop.
Oh, no, I'm just saying that there's a non-smoking section.
We just want it on the plan because if,
It needs to
you
be on
know,
the
in a
plan.
year,
The other
all of
thing
a
is,
sudden,
it's like-
the whole.
Once you put it on the plan, you're only gonna use 1,500 square feet of outdoor storage, you gotta keep it like that. Because then you're gonna be in a violation, so that's why I'm saying to you, just don't wanna just tell us it's gonna be 1,500 square. I mean, is he only going with 1,500 because of the square footage of this building?
Yeah.
That's probably what it is. So he's limited to 1,500.
Right. He's explaining to the commission, his business model is for the small guy. The bigger stuff comes right.
And I don't have a problem with that. I just have a problem that if it turns into be
Oh, absolutely.
15,000 square feet of
There's no
storage.
area to comment.
That's what I just.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why I asked.
Well, that's what I'm saying, I'm asking just about being on the plan.
In the future,
You didn't really hear me. We're messing right now. Go ahead with your question.
any other questions for the applicant?
Oh, he has a question for us.
Oh, go ahead.
is growing. Can that be allowed more space?
You'd have to come back in front of us.
Yeah.
Or talk to staff, basically.
Take it all over.
Right.
Do it.
Stevenson's coming back.
It's coming back.
That's the goal.
Closest
But this is the closest use. Right.
Used to be a lumberyard.
It used to be, do you know anything about the building?
A little bit, yeah.
It used to be a lumber yard. They used to make
Yeah.
trim moldings,
Yeah.
plywood, windows. And now we have parties over there and storage facility.
Been in the industry for over 16 years. That's not an analogy.
Yeah, so this is the closest, that's what Rick was saying, this is the closest fit to what was there
Yes.
originally.
All right, well, any other questions? Any questions up here? All right,
Public, so he's gonna,
what?
Close it, right? No public, public.
no, I'm saying, we're gonna get another map, right?
No,
You can make it a condition of approval.
absolutely.
Right, okay.
Are there any
The engineers in the audience.
questions from the public? Is there any comments on this application for it? Please raise your hand. No? Any questions or comments from the online audience? Please raise your hand. None. Okay, good. Then back to you. I think we'll just close the hearing then, and we'll let you know at the end of the night.
Thank you.
Second public hearing is ZCA 2023-04. This is 685 Main Street. You have,
Yeah.
Okay, you are ready to be shared.
Where is that in Monroe? So the login information is actually
gotta
on
do
the
it again.
laptop. Can I get an acre?
Like Zork. Planning and Zoning Commission, notice of public hearing in accordance with CGS 7D. A public hearing will be held on Thursday, September 7th at 7 PM or soon thereafter via hybrid Zoom meeting and in-person attendees located at Monroe Town Hall. ZCA 2023-04, file 1025D 685 Main Street, zone boundary change petition application from RF1 to B1 at 685 Main Street. Teresa Mitch, estate owner, J. Edwards and Associates LLC representative. Notice was published twice in Voices on Wednesday, August 23rd and August 30th.
Funny if I paid attention.
thank you, Commissioner Condon. And for the exhibits, Rick?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, exhibit number 1, application and plan set. That is all.
Okay, and for the applicant tonight?
Excuse me, Jason Edwards, Jan Edwards Associates, Engineer Surveyors, 227 Stepney Road, Easton. This site is 685 Main Street. This is just the aerial to give you a sense of where we are. It's the now vacant lot just north of the entrance to Northbrook, just south of Dunkin' Donuts. Hillcrest Road here is also just to the south or just to the south of this site on the same side of the road. This was for many years a hot dog stand, I believe. It now looks like this. Because of 2019, it looked like this. There was a hot dog stand here. I think it was a drive-through of some kind, as well as it had a residence on it. What we're proposing to do right now, this is zoned RF1 still, even though it had a business use for many years. So it's, I'm working for a contract purchaser that would like to get a business approved in this zone on this property. In order to do that, we need to get the zone changed to a business zone before they want to really invest in the design. So that's what we're here to do, is to request that change. I did bring this before subcommittee a couple of times, just to show you what the zone surrounding it looks like.
You want to change like a P1 or something?
You've got, this is the new area B1 here. Directly to the north is existing B1. You've got the Dunkin' Donuts here. This is the music store. This is now the temple. It was a restaurant. Across the street is zone MFR, which is Northbrook condos. And then R1 wraps around the back here. So we want to just change this 1 acre parcel to B1, contiguous with the B1 zone to the north.
How did it have a hot dog stand on it if it wasn't?
That's not a long time ago, Ryan.
Come on.
That's question. It was delicious. Don't worry about it.
Have you spoken with any of the neighbors?
And it's no.
We've tried to, staff, I believe, is in contact with them, and they did not want to change the zone. I mean, we've tried to change the zone of the piece.
Further down, I thought we
Yeah,
talked about that.
Going down to the road.
They didn't want to do it, so we came in just.
Had the triple.
And so
That is correct, Mr. Chairman.
the reason that why don't you want to use the Main Street Design District? Why is that?
We may still, but this gives them a as of right use in B1 as a business. So from just a point of financing, almost the bank, you know, is willing to lend on a business zone property. You know, they have as of right use.
So right next to you that's B1, that is a B1, right?
Yeah,
You connect to the B1?
That whole purple.
No, it looked like it was a little strip zone, I guess.
No, it's all.
Not correct.
It does, it's just the grass. Okay. Well, what I was getting at with my hot dog question was it used to be a business, so maybe changing it to a B1 doesn't seem like a big change of use or anything, so. And it was, the old building was demolished, right? Because of light? That's good, so took care of some of it. All right.
Okay. Questions? Go ahead.
No, we asked them in subcommittee.
Rob, Nicole,
No, I'm good.
staff?
No, Mr. Chairman, as the applicant indicated, this was discussed in great detail at the subcommittee level.
Well, let's go to the public then. Are there members of the public here tonight that would like to comment on this application for a new zone change? Yes, please come up to the microphone and just state your name and address for the record and address the commission, please.
Good evening. My name's Rick Smith. My home is at 61 Hillcrest Road. About 1,000 feet from this lot, northwest. And I've lived there for since 2010. So this place used to be a business, and it's appropriate for business. Right now, the uses for this is if you're a trucker early in the morning and you want to get a Dunkin' Donuts, it's really convenient to pull over here. And I hear these guys pulling over. Other than that, it's an unauthorized waste facility or waste dump. There's a lot of crap out there, and there has been historically. For many years, as you know, it stood. The Mitch family had it. I think they closed it in 2001. It was removed in 2019 because it started to get a lot of rust tags on it. So it's very appropriate. Right now, there's the empty gas cylinder, like a propane cylinder, on the property that I saw while I was walking my dog the other day. I really should. I feel that I need to find out where to dump this because it shouldn't remain in that lot because some kid's going to come along with some matches or a lighter. In any case, that's not. It was a family business. This is a nice neighborhood, and normally I would expect that other people come out and give you some hassle about putting, changing. But I feel like that from an economic viewpoint, this is smart growth. This is taking a blighted piece of land and turning it over to appropriate. It's in a good area for this kind of business, for many businesses. Hopefully it's not a smoke shop or massage parlor, but in any case, I really don't see any problems at all. I'm now on the Inland Wetlands Commission, and although there's some wetlands in the general area, I don't think there's any ecological negative effects. All the effects are positive. It's going to add a little traffic, but honestly, when you guys accepted that temple just below the existing B1, that's no traffic. So I think it's great, and I really encourage you guys to. This is the kind of stuff that we should let happen. So, thank you.
All right, thank you for your comments. Are there any other members of the public who'd like to comment on this application? Are there any members of the public online that would like to comment on this application? Please raise your hands.
Hi, I have my hand raised.
Okay, can you please name and address for the record?
Sure, Chelsea Menser. We're at 12 Meadowview Terrace. So we're at the property directly behind this property, or one of those properties.
Okay, go ahead with your comment.
Sure. Just a first comment. When the gentleman was speaking from the legal firm and you asked if the neighbors were ever contacted, we have never been contacted.
I got a registered letter.
Oh, we got a registered letter about this event. He asked the gentleman directly if we've spoken to any neighbors about converting this property. The answer is no.
Okay, so you had not been spoken to.
Correct. I'm just curious on how he contacted us, if he wants to address that.
Yes.
Jason Edwards for the record. I didn't intend to state that I did contact anyone. I think I said that staff had spoken to some of the neighbors and we had sent notices out, but we did not speak to any of the neighbors. I spoke to this gentleman on the phone, but other than that, I did not.
So I'm sorry, your staff can produce something saying that they spoke or attempted to speak to the neighbors?
Sorry, not your staff.
Not my staff, I'm talking about town staff. And there was conversation with at least one of the neighbors. I don't know if they reached out to all.
Okay, so now we're down to one conversation with a neighbor, possibly, by not you.
Right, Kelsey, Rick Schultz speaking. After the subcommittee meeting, the commission directed staff to talk to the property immediately abutting to the south. We had several conversations with the property owner, and the end result was she did not support being a part of this zone change and wanted to maintain her status quo. We did not speak to any other properties.
Okay, so that seems like really different, right, than what was said during this discussion, because we're actually the property directly, if you would look at, I guess, the property on his side where he's closest to Duncan, we're immediately behind him. There's kind of two properties that split behind the one in question here. So we're on the right if you're looking at the bird's eye view. So I just want to flag that we've never been contacted beyond the notice of this hearing, because that seems a little misleading.
Okay, I think normally that's what happens with zone changes.
Yeah, the applicant,
notice
Jason State, he's
not normally spoken to. This is the time for that.
Right. Well, it was weird to ask the question then, correct? Right. To say, have you spoken to any of the neighbors? So I guess moving beyond that, do we have any information about what type of business they're looking to put into this property?
Well, there's a list of possible types of businesses that can go in a B1 zone. So I guess it could be any of those. I don't know. At this point, this application does not address that. At this point, if we agree, if we change the zone, we'll pretty much have to accept any of those B1 uses.
It just feels a little risky. And we are new to the area. We've only been residents here for a little over a year. So forgive me, I don't know if there's a way to get visibility to that list of the types of properties, but I just think it seems like a pretty vague change. And, that's what we noticed right away in the letter. And you can even kind of compare it to some of the other agenda items that were explored today, where there's nothing specific there. We're kind of just agreeing to change it over without any details behind it. A hot dog stand, which we were not in the area at this time, but a hot dog stand kind of being on the side of the road is very different than converting a whole acre and having no idea what we're going to put in it.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I can add, Kelsey, this is step one of two steps. The zone change and then the site plan. And that will, in all probability, require a public hearing because most of the uses are by a public hearing.
You can also see that. You can also see that list online. It's in the
yes, on the town website.
Town's website and the regulations.
Okay.
There's a whole list.
Useful. I guess I'm just concerned because a gentleman a minute ago just said that if this does get approved to move forward, that we would be agreeing to any of the type of properties that would be on that list. Is that correct?
It could come forward with a request for any of the uses on the list during the subsequent public hearing, yes.
Okay, but then if it, to your point, I think the phrasing was all likelihood it would come forward to a public hearing, is that I guess it's beyond the negotiation of what type of property and specifically if we want to move forward with that property that's being proposed. Is that correct?
Right, at this point, it's just a zone change.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I guess our concern just to raise it would be that that seems super vague because I think at this point, we would have no idea how the property would be used. And you do have residences, 2 behind and 1 to the side. And I think the last thing that we'd like to push for is, if this would be converted to a business, which just still is super concerning, is how we would divide, right, that separation of privacy. Because as you can see, the lot lines go right up against each other. And so I think we'd be really concerned about what's essentially going to be in our backyard.
So just, again, getting ahead of things, but the business zones have more buffer requirements than residential. So if a business were to come in, they'd be required to be set back from the property line, and we enforce, usually for neighbors, we really try to push a hefty buffer zone.
Yeah, and solid fencing.
Planting and stuff on their property.
And solid fencing, you've been asking that the last.
We do that a lot too. So those are all things, realistically, if a business were to come in, it would ideally improve the property.
Yeah, I think that's a matter of opinion, but okay. I think just to close it out, I mean, we are directly behind it. We're very valuable property owners on a brand new property in the area. We've only been here about a year. So I think this is really disappointing. I don't think we're necessarily against the conversion, but I think at this point, to be so vague, I have no idea what this person, I mean, I think the gentleman said that before they invest in any designs, they first want to convert it. That just doesn't seem sensible to me. What are they designing if they have no idea what type of property is? So I think the whole thing seems a bit vague and unfortunate, but appreciate being heard.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments.
Mr. Chair, if I may add.
Yes.
So Kelsey, this is Dylan. I'm the planning and zoning administrator. If you'd like at any time, feel free to come on down to town hall. You can sit down with me and I can go over the zoning regulations with you and kind of help you get through what uses would be allowed in that zone. And I can provide you with the table that gives you an idea of what would be allowed there. And I'm happy to discuss that with you at town hall.
Okay, thank you, Dylan.
I was back on mute.
Okay, are there any other members of the public that would like to comment on this application? Okay, seeing none, then we'll go back to the applicant.
I have nothing more.
All right, then we will close this hearing and move along. Right, next we have some regulation changes, RAA 2023-09. These are miscellaneous text amendments, things that people have brought up, things that staff have noticed in the regulations that may not make sense, that may have been causing problems in the past. There are several that we're going to do tonight. I want to read the...
Planning and Zoning Commission, in accordance with CGS 8-7D, a public hearing will be held on Thursday, September 7th, 7 p.m. or soon thereafter via hybrid Zoom meeting and in-person attendance at Monroe Town Hall. RAA 2023-09, file 1032E, miscellaneous text amendments proposals by the Monroe Planning and Zoning Commission to amend the zoning regulations for the following. Article 1, Intro and General Provisions, Section 1.9.12, Prohibition uses by adding illegal, non-permitted signage. Article 2, Definitions by adding new definitions, kitchen/wet bar. Article 3, Residential District, Section 3.1.3, Parking and Storing of RVs and Boats. Article 5, Special District, Section 5.2.2, C, Main Street Design District by allowing apartments within existing mixed-use areas. And Article 6, Supplemental Regulations, Section 6.3.17, Portable Signs. Notice was published twice in Voices on August 23rd and August 3rd.
Thank you, Commissioner Condon. And Rick.
Yes, exhibit number 1, the application. Exhibit 2, response from MetroCog. Exhibit number 3, response from Westcog. That is all, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. But do you want to go through these?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, all the members have a copy of the draft. These regulations started with the zoning regulations subcommittee. It was discussed and staff was directed to prepare the draft text amendments. and fulfill the statutory requirements and conduct a public hearing. Tonight, Mr. Chairman, we are asking to remove Article 3, residential districts, parking and storing of RVs and boats. Staff wants to take that back to the subcommittee to have further discussion. So tonight will be Article 1, Article 2, and Article 5 and 8. Article 1, Mr. Chairman, deals with prohibited uses. Staff is recommending that we add to the prohibited use list non-permitted ground signs, including but not limited to commercial law signage and feather flags. Mr. Chairman, the regulations are very specific. They do prohibit it. This is another section in the regulation that will give it more teeth. When you are reading the regulations, many people go first to the prohibited uses. The prohibited uses are junkyard conditions. We added medical marijuana distribution and the growing of it. So it's a very powerful section in the regs. The subcommittee said, let's add the additional strength in the verbiage in our zoning regs. So we added the non-permitted ground signs. Those are the ground signs that are littered throughout the community. They keep popping up. We remove them.
Makes it more visible and easier to see.
Yeah, so I think it makes sense to add it to our prohibited uses.
Kind of change.
We still have it under our sign regulations, but this is just another layer of enforcement. As I indicated to the commission, we are going to hold off on Article 3. We're going to Article 2, which is on the next page. This is the general zoning terms. You heard from the zoning officer, there is a need to define what a kitchen is, and at the same time to add a definition of a wet bar. The kitchen is something that needs to be defined. It coincides with our accessory dwelling unit regulation. Our accessory dwelling unit regulation requires a full kitchen. And because of that, when a floor plan comes in, we need to better define it. Our definition reads as follows: an area of a dwelling unit, house, or apartment used for the preparations, storage, or service of food which contains any or all of the following fixtures and equipment in whole or in part: storage cabinets, plastic, metal, or wood, kitchen sinks, refrigerator, dishwasher, stove, hot plate, oven table, top broiler, including fans and hoods, all of which are installed or plugged into related plumbing and electrical fixtures or connections. This was a definition that the zoning officer has reviewed in other towns. Cheryl, as you know, worked previously in Stanford, and this was something that was dealt with quite often because of the amount of dwelling units in the community. But now that we are mandated, although Monroe has always allowed accessory dwelling units, we need to define it accordingly. Staff also brought to the subcommittee's attention the wet bars. We get that quite often for existing homes. And we need to define it, and we are recommending the definition of an area limited to the following: 18 inches maximum sink, 4 feet lower cabinetry only, and a mini fridge. Wet bars shall not be substituted as the kitchen for an accessory dwelling unit. Once again, we have allowed accessory dwelling units. The commission has been emphatic that you need a full kitchen and not a wet bar. But we have a lot of single-family homes in town that want to add a wet bar to their family room or to the basement area that gets fixed up. So these two definitions are critical. instead of the commission just haphazardly working with the applicant. These are definitions that have been tested in other communities, and we feel comfortable with it. It should also be noted, staff also made a referral to the town attorney too, and we have not received any comments, and we do not anticipate. So that deals with Article 2, pretty self-explanatory. Article 5 and 8 is more involved. It deals with our Main Street Design District and the special exception application that deals with the multifamily. Starting with Article 5, Main Street Design District, going right to text 5.2.2 C, excuse me, 5.2, yeah, C. The sentence read, minimum district size shall be 1 acre and can be comprised of multiple parcels. Obviously, this came up with the Starbucks. The intent, and it always has been with this commission, that it should read parcel size. It was modeled after the town of Newtown. They use that type of language, but this town, historically, it was always done the parcel size. The district, when it abuts the state highway, goes out to the center line of the right-of-way. And that's where the confusion came in. But the wording is the way it is right now. And commission made it clear that the appropriate language should be parcel size. And we are addressing it tonight with that change. Moving on to 5.3.2 eligibility. Once again, this commission has been dealing with the possibility of allowing second floor apartments in our existing 2-story commercial buildings that are scattered on Route 25 and on Route 34. The wording for D under the 15 acres that is currently required will read, the commission may allow apartments within existing commercial buildings on smaller parcels subject to section 8.2.3Q. Once again, the commission recognizes that currently there are some existing apartments that are there with the benefit of zoning and a certificate of occupancy. We have to address it. And I think moving forward, this is the right way to deal with it. Once again, using the MDD, you have complete control. You can say no when the comfort level is not there. But once again, at the staff level, we know they are there. They're in these older 2-story commercial buildings. And I think it's appropriate to deal with it at this time. So moving on to Q, multifamily developments within the MDD. Once again, the limitation right now is the project shall be 15 acres. That resulted in 127 Main Street, the luxury apartment. Staff is recommending that you further amend that line by saying, unless the property has 1 direct access to Main Street, Route 25, and is associated with an existing commercial building. All proposed residential units shall be located on the upper floor and contain only 1 bedroom and full kitchen. The subcommittee talked about 1 bedroom or 2 bedrooms. The consensus was 1 bedroom, and once again, full kitchen. You don't want a wet bar. That's not the true definition of an apartment. Number 2, these are the 2 locations. Has direct access to Roosevelt Drive, Route 34, and is associated with a commercial building. All proposed residential units shall be located on the upper floor and contain only 1 bedroom and full kitchen. We did discuss Route 111. It was the consensus of the subcommittee that there aren't a lot of older two-story commercial buildings as you have on Route 25 and Route 34. You may, however, want to revisit that. The areas that have them are on Route 25, and there are older buildings on 34 that, to my knowledge, do not have them, but they may have them if an investigation. But those are the two areas that we're suggesting at this time. Subcommittee said it very loud and clearly. Let's move slowly on this. The multifamily is a significant issue in town. You allowed one development on 127 for 198 units. You allowed it on the mixed-use shopping center for upper floor area too. As a side note, they will probably come back in to address lower level. As you recall, the back end of that shopping center does have lower level. It faces the river in the back and the pond area, but that's for another day. So we're restricting it to those areas. The next page, D, E, and F, this has exemptions in it. It doesn't require the affordable housing provision because, these are just one-bedroom apartments, so. Also, too, Mr. Chairman, there was a typo that restricted the Main Street Design District to routes 25, 111, or 34. There was a typo that said "and." So that's on page 2. Under Article 5, Paragraph A, must have direct access to routes 25, 111, or 34. That clearly was a typo, but that was corrected. So, Mr. Chairman, those are the proposed amendments, adding the illegal non-permitted signs to the prohibition uses, adding the new definition of kitchen and wet bars to help staff regulate accessory dwelling units and residents that are putting wet bars in their single-family homes. And then the last section deals with allowing second-floor apartments limited to one bedrooms in existing commercial buildings on 25, parts of 25 and parts of Route 34. And I cleared up that and/or.
Okay, thank you, Rick. So let's take some, can go to the commissioners now if there are any questions.
Yeah, I just have, so the definition of kitchen, I'm a little concerned with, because the way I read it, if you have a kitchen sink, it's a kitchen.
Could be a wet bar.
Not per our definition, because it says an area, see, it says that under wet bar, but it doesn't have a measurement under kitchen. So an area of dwelling unit, house, or apartment used for the preparation, storage, and/or service of food, which contains any or all of the following fixtures and/or equipment in whole or in part, kitchen sinks. So.
Yeah, that was not the intent.
So I think you need to add either the measurement of the sinks in there to probably fix it. So maybe 19 inches or.
Or do we want to take this back to the subcommittee because we're recommending a meeting next Monday? Do you want to look at it again or do you feel comfortable?
I mean, it's up to you guys. I just think it's the way that reads is just.
Yeah, you don't want it to be ambiguous.
Yeah. I don't know if it's, yeah, because then I could say, okay, I put in a sink, it's a kitchen, and you're going to say, no, it's a wet bar, but. So either add the measurements under sink to say 19 inches or larger. And even then though, if somebody just puts in a 19-inch sink, is that a kitchen? A standalone 19-inch sink with where they're gonna prepare food?
Has to have all this other
Well,
stuff.
it doesn't say that. It says.
Yeah, we're having any or all.
Fixtures and or equipment in whole or in part.
That's what I'm saying, it's not supposed to read.
It doesn't read that.
It's not supposed to read it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just gotta work on the language there, I think. And then jumping over to Q, It says bedroom and full kitchen. We don't define full kitchen, we define kitchen.
Yeah.
Same thing. So kitchen should either say full kitchen in the definition or strike full from the other one. Yeah.
System.
Yep. That's it on my end. Everything else.
That was more of an exclamation.
Okay, thank you.
When we do this here, these regulations, when we change them, is this turned over to the town's attorney before
Oh, absolutely. A referral is made to the town attorney.
he overlooks it?
Yes.
So then on that last thing, he overlooked the last one, and then we had a problem with the parcel?
Yes.
It was missed.
Because.
Not missed, the town's attorney looks at it.
Because
advises.
he was thinking the commission was comfortable with the district. And towns use that. You just don't use that here. You have history with parcel size.
No, I understand that. I'm saying, like, no, it's not a typo.
Well, it was a typo.
Well, the or, that was a typo.
Saying on all these.
No, but the district one, the fundamental issue.
On these draft regulations, they look at the town's attorney before they come in front of them.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, Commissioner Rainey.
I'm good. I have a question on the proposed text 5.3.2 eligibility, section D. The commission may allow apartment units with existing commercial buildings on smaller parcels subject to section 8.2.3. Now, is this referring to our pre-existing non-conforming units, or is this opening up the floodgates to all the two-story commercial dwellings on 25?
Oh, the intent is all, no, it is all existing commercial buildings.
But the pre-existing non-conforming residents, if you will, it's trying to make them conform. That's kind of what I.
You have to deal with that because they're there without a CO.
But the question and the part I have the issue with is now we're encouraging the rest of the units to also now kind of legitimize residential uses above.
But they'd have to apply for an MDD, right?
Yeah, you have complete control
of that control.
Right.
But what Commissioner Westland is saying, you can further restrict it geographically on here, even more. There's not a lot on 34, that's a no-brainer.
Right.
25, you made this say geographically in the Stephanie area. You can add that. You see what I'm saying? Instead of the whole corridor.
I don't know that I'm comfortable with it on 25 either. That's my concern. All right, I just wanted to clear that up. That's kind of a biggie.
Yeah, of course it is.
But I don't think when we discussed it in the subcommittee, I don't think we were going to get this intent into this. I don't think we were getting this far deep into this. You know, it seems like we got real deep into it now. I think Rob is the same way. I think Rob is feeling the same way that I felt. And when I just saw this tonight, I didn't see this before. We just got this.
We could bring this back to the subcommittee.
I think that's what we're going to.
I would support that.
Bring this back to the
You have to
subcommittee.
say there can't, and I saw somewhere, no main level, but then I heard.
Only second
level,
floor. Yeah.
But we're saying something about a building that has,
No, we're talking about the new shopping center on the Trumbulltown line.
Okay.
They have been talking to staff.
okay,
They would like the possibility of allowing lower level
okay.
in the back that faces the.
So that,
lower level.
that apply to current buildings at 25 that are older?
No, that will require another major change of the regulation.
So a current building.
I just threw that out
then
because.
flip their entrances to the back to allow first level apartments. They couldn't do that?
No, right now.
Okay.
You have more questions, Sandra?
I just think we should bring this to the subcommittee a little bit further.
Yeah, you have to feel comfortable with it, no question.
All right. And are there any comments from the public? Yes, please come forward and just your name and address.
My name is Hans Shermans, and I represent the owner of 7182 Main Street. This has nothing to do with 7182 Main Street. I'm just referring to the proposed text amendment changes, referring to text Q, number 1. My two specific comments are, has direct access to Main Street, Route 25, associated with an existing commercial building. I would like to strike the word existing because to me it's ambiguous. If there's an existing building there and you knock it down, does that mean you can put apartments? Or if you build a building, does that mean it's existing and then you can add apartments later? I know this is to legalize illegal apartments, but it also is for development going forward in the MDD district. So I understand that the apartment should be part of a commercial building, but it should be, I don't know, the word existing to me is ambiguous. It should just be commercial building. The second comment I have is all proposed residential units shall be located on the upper floor and contain only one bedroom and full kitchen. I think that whole sentence should be stricken. The reason is there are regulations requiring handicapped accessible apartments. We're talking about very small developments like 4 units or something like that. And you want to have the ability, and I'm saying the ability not to just discount it, but the ability to have ground level apartments so that you can have more of a handicapped accessibility. You can have for older residents, these buildings won't have elevators, they'll be walk-ups. So if you limit it to above upper levels only, you're limiting the accessibility for elderly and handicapped people. And I would just like to see that entire sentence just stricken from the text amendment. I realize this is going back to the subcommittee, but those are my comments on this proposed text amendment.
Okay, thank you very much. Anyone else here tonight that would like to comment? Yes, please come up forward.
Kathy Lindstrom, 298 Guinea Road. Thank you for addressing some of these issues. It's been a long time in coming. And I think you do need to do some more wordsmithing. I think going back to the subcommittee, getting the wording correct and looking towards the future and getting rid of some of the issues that have been plaguing this commission for a long time. It's going to make everybody much happier and make their lives a whole lot easier. Thank you for going ahead with it.
Okay, thank you. Do we have anyone else here tonight that would like to address the commission? Do we have anyone online that would like to address the commission on this text amendment? Any of these text amendments? Seeing none. Are we okay with the first article? Everyone on board?
Oh, the ground signs, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Mr. Chairman, while we're talking, can I add some food for thought?
Yes.
The commission could add wording in great detail for these existing non-conforming apartments. You could go so far as to say, as recognized or as shown on the assessor's field cards. You can go into great detail by just pinpointing those areas. You see what I'm saying, Rob? You can go to that length instead of just saying existing commercial buildings. You can say as determined by the assessor's field card of existing non-conforming apartments. Towns have done that too.
Prior to 2023.
That is correct.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? If you really want to squeeze or shorten
Dylan, write that down.
we're going to talk about that because I'm going to consult with the assessor and get the right language. And I think that would, everyone I think will feel better with that.
Cool.
It's like what you did when you did the accessory dwelling unit 15 years ago. This does not automatically grandfather. You have to come in and put your unit on the list.
Thank you. All right, then we'll take this back to the subcommittee.
I think that's the right way to do it.
Move moving along, deliberations. Now, the excavation and fill permit here, that's enclosed?
Yeah, that's being withdrawn tonight. Mr. Chairman, you have a letter there. For 260 Spring Hill Road. They are going to be reapplying. They are revising their plans further. They chose to close the hearing, and that resulted in the need to withdraw and resubmit.
That is closed then. So then for deliberations and determinations, we have the two tonight that we've heard. The first is 1565 Monroe Turnpike. Chair will entertain a motion to discuss SCP 2023-09, 1565 Monroe Turnpike.
Make a motion to approve 1565 Monroe Turnpike.
Have a motion?
With the condition of the addition of
Site plan, demarcate the
outdoor storage.
Yeah. Have a motion? Need a second?
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion other than adding the outdoor storage?
It's the closest thing to bringing Stevenson Lumber back to being Stevenson Lumber, so I think it's a good use of the property.
Any other discussion? All right, we have before us a draft permit here. Okay, so then we have a motion, a second, we'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Condon, yes.
Rosie, yes, with conditions.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayini, yes.
Westland, yes.
Okay, this passes. Congratulations.
Good luck.
Good luck.
Second, we have a draft zone boundary change. It's the ZCA 2023-04. This is 685 Main Street. As you all know, well, Chair will entertain a motion to approve.
Motion to, ooh.
Boundary change. Go ahead.
Okay, motion to approve.
ZCA 2023-04, file 1025D, 685 Main Street.
I have a motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. All right, we heard the applicant tonight, who is still here. Do you have any discussion on this?
Kind of a no-brainer.
Okay. No further discussion. We'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Condon, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Mayini, yes.
Westland, yes.
CA 2023-04 is approved 5-0. We have minutes, I believe.
We have a couple.
Okay, you have August 24th.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the August 24th special meeting.
Make a motion to approve the 8/24/23 pending meeting minutes.
Ooh, I was here.
I have a motion, second.
Second.
Motion and a second. And is there any discussion?
Yeah, Rick, some of these meetings are so vague. This is like vague. Nothing in here. Zero. No discussions, no nothing, zero.
I'll take that up with staff.
Yeah, because we used to have comments and everything in here. We have nothing, zero.
The context of it is established by the commission.
No, I understand that, but before, I don't know how it all changed here, because before,
Very recently.
details.
Yeah, I could imply he voted no for Starbucks because he doesn't like coffee.
Probably because it's all recorded on and videotaped now.
No, I understand.
So it's not really.
Mr. Chairman.
Document that we're approving.
It's not a transcript, though. In the old days, before we had the recordings, it was more of a
No, but
transcript.
this is filed, right? No, this is definitely filed. This is filed.
Right. It's not a transcript, though. It's
I
minutes.
understand that, but if you don't get the recording, just you go into town hall, you can look at this and see what the.
Yeah, I'll take that up with staff.
Okay, thank you.
Right, back to the minutes.
Let's call the roll, starting on my right.
Condon, yes.
Rosie, no.
O'Reilly, yes. Yes.
Westland, yes.
Minutes of the August 24th, 2023 special meeting have been approved by a vote of 4-1.
This guy.
Okay, we have Planning and zoning matters. The request for the extension of 7192 Main Street. I did find the letter. Yeah. They're requesting you're all familiar with this, is that one house near the 55 and over development that we really didn't intend for them to demolish.
No, Mr. Chairman, the first one is for the shopping center.
Is that?
First one's for the shop. You have two letters there.
I don't have any.
The house is Purdy Hill.
From Hans.
Hans, it's not on here though, is it?
No, it's not on here.
You added it.
No.
We added.
He has one already. There's no, that one he added.
Do you want to do the one we added?
No, do the one you have. the one-
You have two up.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, you made Rick get up on his last day. Oh,
Yeah, let him work for his pay here.
you get overtime for this? Get a stretch clause in your.
Yeah, just read that one, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, Dylan, new acting, guy has to bring pizza every week.
All right, we have 7180
Pepperoni.
Main Street. Due to circumstances beyond our control, we are unable to have the drawings completed by the above-mentioned date and are requesting a 180-day extension to March 9th, 2024. We believe all other deadlines listed on the permit can be met.
6 months to do what?
To draw?
Yeah, what's he saying?
Come to call Jason Edwards and have this thing done by tomorrow morning.
Where's 7192?
You
need 6 months to.
Info on this, Rick?
It's a reasonable request. I have nothing to add.
Come on.
Okay.
The last day.
Property is this?
Where's 7192?
No, that's the new shopping center, the mixed use on the Trumbull line.
70.
On 25.
25, yeah. What's the holdup for? What's your plan? Why?
Do you know, is it?
Why are they moving it down that far? The reason behind it.
Is it DOT or is it something?
No, it's an internal issue.
Okay.
They fired someone.
I don't see any reason to deny their extension. It's legal.
6 months? A couple of lines on a piece of paper? Let's do it.
Okay. Then the chair will entertain a motion to grant this extension. Motion to grant the extension.
I'll make a motion to grant the extension at 7192 Main Street.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? For the record. If not,
For the record, it's
call the
Leon.
roll, starting on my right.
Condon, yes.
Ambrosi, yes.
O'Reilly, yes.
Laney, yes. You guys all vote yes and nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to do that.
Okay.
I didn't have the thing to read in front of me.
Motion passes. We have, wait a minute.
There's one more.
It's at the Purdy Hill Road.
Request for an extension at 7192 Main Street.
Done.
All right, we have one more.
You have not banged the gavel once today, just to be clear. It's a little upsetting.
Okay, this is the 3-year extension that we added tonight. This is what I was doing. The 3-year extension on 269 Purdy Hill Road. To put off the demolition of that house. You all recall that?
Why? Why are they?
They want to go before the ZBA.
Well, not just that, the state.
Department of Public Health is changing its code, which will allow it to stay on the property.
But it's not going to happen for probably another year.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Your condition of approval says the house needs to be demolished at the time of the 7th building's construction.
The house fits with the character of the neighborhood. They're doing it for the right reason. The change is definitely coming down the pipe. There's staff shortages from what we understand at the state level, and they need about a year to get it done.
Yeah, and the staff just recommends that you state on the record that the property owner maintain the property.
That's good. It's reasonable.
Their end goal is to not demolish the house. That's what okay.
And not occupy it, other than for office use.
And when the state changes its code,
Occupied then.
How's that not occupied?
Not living in it.
you ultimately will have to amend your conditions of approval.
I mean, That was, wow. So it's not occupied, but they're gonna work in it.
Yeah, it's like a construction trailer.
There's no water on supposedly in the house.
What's the downside?
I mean, we approved one thing and now we're gonna make.
This is a very.
Well, because there's a state level change. Well, it's a state level change.
I understand that. What I'm saying is that, I agree with Bruno in a way, that when this was approved, the house was going. They didn't have a problem with it when it's being developed about the house going. Now, all of a sudden, there's a problem with the house and wants to stay. And I understand what he's saying and everything like that, but.
It didn't comply at that time. It'll be complying now.
No, you need to make it comply. At that time, when we approved this application, the house was going. It wasn't gonna be there. It was gonna be used for whatever caretaker while it was being done, or storage while it was being done. But when the project was done, it was going to be removed. And that was.
Right, that's correct.
Right. And now, all of a sudden, they want to keep the house. And but it didn't, the reason why the house was moved before was because it wouldn't have met the septic requirements and he wouldn't have been able to get as many units as he wanted. So there's two parts of this that you have to look at, you know what I mean? And we're here to make an approval based on what the applicant brought in front of us. And at that time, in order for him to meet those conditions with removing the house, he would not be able, he didn't have the septic capacity. And so that's why it was approved that way. And so for somebody to come in after the project's all done to change it, and I understand his circumstance, what he wants to do with it, sell the house, or what he wants to do with it. But this commission, at that point, had certain parameters that they could work with, and that was it. So that's
I think he's looking for us to flex because the requirements have changed.
Yes.
And I think you're right. I think
requirements may change. The state hasn't changed them.
Right, and we also.
Work in progress, right, but nobody knows when that will be. They don't know that.
And we're giving them an extension, not an approval to keep it.
I understand that, but I'm saying, at that point, then he's gonna have to come back.
Yeah, but this.
Correct.
At the same point that we are today.
In 3 years.
In 3 years.
Right.
That we approve it because of this, right?
The end goal is gonna be to try to keep this house.
Yes. It fits the
Yeah,
character of the
fix it a
neighborhood.
little
But
bit.
it doesn't,
Sell it.
but it doesn't fit the approval that we gave.
Right, at all, zero. He has to come
Asking
back
for
for
us to flex.
approval.
Should have.
He's gonna have to come back and amend that approval, right?
But he would like a 3-year extension to work on.
I don't mind giving them the extension, but on the other hand, I'm not gonna say that when I'm here 3 years from now, or if I'm here on this commission, that I'm gonna approve it. I mean, I'm
Yeah,
not saying.
that's understandable.
It's something that we're gonna
Yeah, you don't
have.
have to agree to that.
No, I don't have to agree to that now.
Right. So all we're doing is an extension.
Correct.
Is there any other discussion? Mr. Grasso is here if you want to ask him any questions. It's not a closed deliberation right now.
If you would allow me, my name's AJ Grasso. I live at 14 Redtail Court in Shelton. I'm an owner of the property. When the property was originally approved, I wasn't the owner. And the reason that the house was going to be knocked down is the state total allowed bedrooms per lot, whether it's 5 acres, 10 acres, or 50 acres. It's a total of 50 bedrooms. The town regulations would allow up to 50 units on a 10-acre parcel. You can't put 50 units unless you're going to put 51 bedroom units. So there was 25 2-bedroom units approved. The 3 existing house at 269 Purdy Hill Road is a 3-bedroom house. The state has since changed, the state changed the law, which required the maximum size of the septic system per lot from 7,000 square foot, 7,500 gallons to 10,000 gallons. That law has been passed. That would allow, when the regulations are actually written, the state to allow up to, in the neighborhood of 67 total bedrooms. Currently on the site, there's 25 2-bedroom units, which is 50 bedrooms, and the house that was slated to be demolished, the 3 bedrooms. So that would be a total of 53 bedrooms. If the state had a larger staff, the law's already been changed to 10,000 gallons. I spoke with the state sanitarian who explained to me that they're understaffed. There's 2 people. and the staff. He says, we're already working more hours than we're getting paid for. They're not going to increase the staff. In fact, what they've done is they've added a couple things to our plate. We're now in charge of every public pool in the state, which we weren't because they were done by the individual health departments of different towns, but now it's mandated to the state. He said, it's likely that we will begin this process in the beginning of 2025. And with the intentions and hopes that it would be completed by the end of 2020. When I was here earlier, and we had asked for a text amendment from 10 acres to 9 acres, it would have allowed that parcel to be split. And when it's split, there'd be 50, that would meet the current regulations as they're written, with a total of 50 bedrooms on one parcel. Once the other parcel was split, the bedroom count wouldn't matter to that parcel because it'd only be 50. So on the existing Cutler's Farm development. So what I'm asking for is an extension, because at some point between now and the end of, hopefully the end of 2025, the number of total bedrooms is going to go up to somewhere in the mid-60s. At that point, there's really two options for me. I either come back and I ask to allow a 26th unit, and have an amendment to allow a 26th unit in Cutler's Farm, or I can go in front of zoning board of appeals. If the unit's allowed, the house is allowed, and they stay up, and ask the ZBA if they would allow the single family house to be split from this parcel, with the understanding that it could be a house tomorrow, it could be occupied tomorrow. But if we're gonna be waiting for the state to write the actual regulation, it could be 2 years, 3 years before that. So that's the reason why. That's just to clarify what I'm actually asking for and the overall intent.
All right, so we're only going to be granting a 3-year extension on the demolition.
Correct.
Not changing any other regulation or rules or anything.
And it wouldn't even be us, it would be ZBA making.
Oh, that's one of the options. Any other questions on this? All right. Well, Chair, do we have an motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion, need a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any other questions? I'll call the roll, starting on my right.
Condon, yes.
Ambrose, yes.
Or yes.
Mayini, no.
Esseland, yes.
Motion passes at a vote of 4, and 1 against. Thank you.
I'll use the gavel.
Moving along, we have no correspondence. Any commissioner reports? Land use staff report?
Staff is recommending zoning regulations subcommittee next Monday, 5:30.
I can't make it.
We will continue discussion with items from tonight, and we have a couple other items.
Okay, who else? Leon?
I'll be there.
I could be there.
Nicole?
I'm not officially part of that, but I'll be there.
Just take my spot.
Take a spot. Okay. What time?
5:30.
5:30, Monday.
Could be an honorary subcommittee chairman for the day.
September the 11th at 5:30
Rick's bringing pizza.
PM.
5:30 PM, yeah.
Oh, good bring-
We'll have a celebratory pizza party.
I'm not available.
It's called Uber.
I am not Ubering my son to Hartford.
Okay, very good. I think that
Can't afford it. Otherwise I would.
concludes our business. Therefore, the chair will motion to,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
favor say aye.
Aye.
Against? It's unanimous. And town of opinions on the commission is now adjourned at 8:31.